the W-2, everybody thinks is more buttoned up because it has the insurance, it has a couple other things.
Sure.
But when you're making X amount of times what you were making on that W-2 because of the residuals,
right,
you can buy whatever insurance.
Whether you're a seasoned vet of the payments industry or a brand new rookie who just heard the term dual pricing for the first time, you're in the right place. This is the only podcast that shares the strategies and stories behind selling merchant services. Welcome to Agent First.
All right, hello everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Agent First podcast. I'm Justin Vollrath, your host. Excited to have here today my good friend and agent in the industry, Brad Withrow. Brad, welcome.
Thank you. Yeah. Great to be here.
So I'm really excited to talk to you because there's a lot of people that have different backgrounds of how they got into this industry. Nobody grew up saying I want to be in credit card processing,
That's right.
but most people at least had some like sales stuff that led them into that, and you did not necessarily have that at all.
Not at all.
And so I'm really excited to share that part of your story. And so let's kind of rewind back and go, before credit card processing. You're originally from Joplin, Missouri, right?
Joplin, Missouri, yes.
Yep. So you got that, and then you grew up there, went to college. Where at?
In Joplin.
In Joplin. Okay, we never left Joplin. We never leave Joplin. Got it. Okay, so you went to let's go Joplin, and then what after college? What next?
So, I did some school other places.
Yeah.
But that's where I ended up at. But yeah, got into electrical engineering and design, everything from substations to all the electricity.
So your degree was in electrical engineering. You
Yeah.
became an electrical engineer, right?
Correct.
Okay. All right.
Couldn't stamp it, but I could actually do all the stuff and teach the people that were supposed to stamp it.
So you were an EIT, right? Yeah, look at me. See? Yeah. Okay.
So that was, So did that for 23 years, I believe.
Okay.
And the last place I was working, I loved it, but they doing some layoffs.
Yep.
And they were also moving some positions to California,
Okay.
different branch. And Sarah and I had just gotten married, and my oldest son's senior year was coming up, and we're going to uproot him. So
Yeah.
I literally looked around. I think it was either on Angie's List or Craigslist. I can't remember, like I said. And I saw this thing called credit card processing, and I was like, let's try it out. And I walked in, very tiny place, very, very, as local as local can be.
Yeah.
And started going in there. Like I said, I had a suit, a tie, and they were like, sold. I didn't even have to interview.
Yeah, you fogged the mirror. You're good. Right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think they were wanting me to train people, be manager like day 2, and already training people in month 2.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was exciting. Saw some things that I didn't need to see, and decided this probably isn't going to be the route I want to continue. And that was probably 4 to 6 months into it.
Okay.
But yeah, taking the job alone was like super scary to Sarah,
Right.
because used to insurance and the whole
Stability of it all.
the whole stability.
Yeah. Because this was 100% commission you went
Yes,
into?
yes,
Okay.
100%.
All right.
And didn't really have the residuals figured out. That was kind of crazy. But I like I said, I was about tired of that as fast as I got into it. And I was actually taking my book of business and to my biggest competitor and said, here you go, I'll help you even sign them.
Wow.
I'm getting out of this.
Wow.
And I'd already taken another job whenever he talked me in to trying it out.
Okay.
So 2 full-time jobs, both of them having quota for 2.5 years before I said, I'm just going to do credit card processing only.
Okay.
And then we had Titus, our 6-year-old, and I was like, I'm going to just do credit card processing now.
Okay.
And it's been amazing ever since.
Wow. Okay. So to back up here, so you're an electrical engineer. You're designing substations, anything else, right? And then no sales background whatsoever.
Fundraisers for sports, but that was about it.
Sure. Yeah. And all of a sudden, I'm going to jump into this 100% commission full-time thing. I'm sure that went over super well with Sarah, right?
Oh, no.
Yeah.
I'm trying to even remember the full conversations, but she's like, I guess we'll do it. But she was not happy, but she also knew that going to work in the dark and coming home in the dark was not going to be ideal.
Right. I think I also remember you sharing with me previous time we talked about this, that the only way to really get ahead in that industry was you almost had to leave a company and go somewhere else and kind of play that game, right?
And I'm not a job jumper. I'm very, very loyal. So it was hard. Whenever I was in my 20s, I remember taking a job 48 minutes away.
Wow.
Literally making double the amount. So in the area that I worked, it was really hard to make any increase at all. But that was pretty much anytime you needed an increase in that industry. Unless you're, with the good old boys from a long time ago, it was really hard. So I took a couple other jobs, and then I ended up with my last one doing, like I said, substations.
Okay. So. Okay. That's awesome. So
and everywhere. I mean, everywhere from the littlest one that you see, the size of a closet, as big as a 2-story, something that is traveled on back of the semi to Peru. So.
Okay. So mainly electrical substations. Yeah. Okay. All right. So how did you make that transition? Because
I like to talk.
That's a big transition to go from, sitting there, obviously we're using CAD every day and designing things out, wire harnesses and all that jazz to all of a sudden now I'm going to go cold call, knock on doors every day. And is that how you started cold calling? I assume?
Calling. I mean, doing the little clover where you hit everything.
Yeah.
Everywhere around. But then, I just had to feed the family. So it was that. And I just liked talking to people. I knew quite a few people around, although I didn't really sell in my hometown at first. I wanted to make sure I knew what I was doing.
Okay.
And that I trusted the industry. So.
Yeah. Okay. So now, how many years ago was that?
We're going on 8.
8 years.
Yeah.
Okay. So 8 years ago. All right. Throughout that 8 years, you've worked at a few companies. Some of them been W-2, some of them been 1099.
This is my first 1099.
That's what I thought. Yeah. How's that been for you, that transition? Which, are there goods, bads to it? Because there are people out there listening that some are, trying to figure out which way is right for them. And I don't think there's one size fits all.
Well, you're right. I mean, the W-2, everybody thinks is more buttoned up because it has the insurance, it has a couple other things.
Sure.
But just like us at Pay Compass, when you're making X amount of times what you were making on that W-2 because of the residuals,
right?
You can buy whatever insurance.
Yeah.
So, I think I can't even remember. It was an amazing amount what we were paying for insurance last.
Yeah.
So.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. Okay. So you've been doing this now for 8 years, right? And even in those 8 years, you've seen changes, right?
Oh, yeah.
There's been a lot of changes in 8 years, and which is, this industry is changing every week, every day. It seems like. What are some of the biggest changes you've seen in the industry over those 8 years? And it can be anything you want to talk about. It can be, the way merchants respond, the technology, the product offerings, whatever. What are some of the things maybe that just stick out in your mind as this has changed a lot over the last 8 years? Well,
look, part of that is the team the culture that we've created in my area. When I first started, there was nothing but, we see 10 people a day or at least that week.
Yep.
Or we get phone calls all the time. I don't get that as much as I used to because our team has kind of created that culture that, we are the team. We are the ones going to take care of you.
Yep.
I've definitely seen a lot of different terminals in that amount of time. I remember back when I first started, the Clover POS was the devil where I worked.
Yeah.
Because we didn't sell it.
Yep. Same. Yeah.
But and then if you ask anybody on my team, they'll be like, they're so sick of me saying anything about Clover POS because it's like the answer to everything. So, there's tons of others that I like.
Right. What do you think about dual pricing, cash discounting, surcharging today? Do you think that's something that's going to stick around, or is it going to
it's already had quite a few changes just recently.
Right.
With a lot of regulations and stuff like that, but I hope it stays. That's how we make a lot of money.
Yeah, it's very profitable, right? Yeah.
That, as long as the customer's doing it right, I think it'll stay.
Okay. All right. So you mentioned just a few moments ago that you have a team of people in the Joplin area, and not even just Joplin, you have people outside that. Let's talk about that a little bit, because that's something that, I know is a big passion of yours, right?
Yes.
You've been a coach before in the past, right, with your kids, and that's a big part of what you love doing. But you've now got this team, right, that you're helping to lead as well. Let's talk about what that means for you.
So, just like you said in coaching, I really enjoyed coaching tons, and it was very sad for me whenever I realized I wouldn't get to coach anymore because I'd be that weirdo coaching your kid's not in there anymore.
Right.
I get to do it again, hopefully, because my youngest is getting into it.
Sure.
But as far as work, there's a lot of folks, just like at Pay Compass, there's a lot of folks that don't get that opportunity.
Right.
And this is a life-changing experience. If I would have known about credit card processing back out of high school, heck yeah.
Yeah.
But just to see the changes, I've got one guy on my team that, and we'll talk more about him probably later. I was told that he wouldn't stay with me very long.
Right.
And he's doing amazing things.
Yeah.
He's went from working quite a few jobs to not.
Yeah.
And he enjoys this so much. He's even brought his son into it.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. But also, just to see them, just like ourselves, being able to do extra things with their family, doing extra things,
Right.
Not that they're going to go out and buy all the extra cool stuff, but they can.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Take care of their family, donate if they want to.
Right. Right. There's a passion in that. And I think it's something that for all the listeners out there, hearing is like, I think people sometimes wonder, why do you do that? Right. Why do you want to help other people learn this industry? Just go do it yourself. Mm-hmm. But I think I think you and I have talked about this before. There's it's a difference in how you find that passion, that fulfillment, right? Is in, great. I can go out and sell some deals and make money for myself, but boy, I really have a fulfillment. So there's a passion. I get an energy, a high out of helping somebody else reach their goals and attain it. I mean, I saw you just, your eyes light up there when you were talking about that person on your team that I remember talking to them, a while back, and just multiple different jobs and driving a bus and doing various things, trying to just bring it all together, and still struggling to today not having to do those things. It's awesome, and a huge testament to your coaching, man.
Well, one of the things, even back when my oldest was little, I always preached, I always told them, know your worth. And that's where it starts.
Yeah. So what is this meant for you and your family, right? For the Withrow family, mm-hmm. What has the switch over the last 8 years to this industry meant for you? I'm sure, electrical engineering, it's not a, you're not Bill Gates there, but it's still a well-paying job.
Absolutely.
But I'm sure this is, there's obviously been some advantages, some things that happened. What has this meant for you and your family?
Freedom. The biggest thing is, I was working, like I said, dark to dark. And what that looks like is going in sometimes 7, sometimes 8, depending on the season, and not getting home till after 6 or something. Yeah. And that was really hard after coaching to have that on my plate. But, having the flexibility, I don't necessarily take advantage of the flexibility as much, just because that's how I'm bred. But being able to take off for the day, being able to do homeschool, and if we wanted to travel, we could do homeschool.
Right.
There's so many different things. It's not just about the pay. It's just the relationships as well.
Right.
Everybody I talk to on the phone, it cracks me up sometimes, but it's just like, this is so awesome.
Right. Yeah. No, I love that. And I think the opportunities it brings for you, right? It's never about the money, right? The money is, we sometimes measure things by money, right? But it's what does that money do for us and our family, right? And I think that's the biggest thing. And I think, you've done some things for your family that have, because of this industry, that's allowed you to do some things that you maybe couldn't do before, which is always awesome and inspiring for sure. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So as you look at the next, few years for Brad Withrow, mm-hmm. What does that look like? What are the things you're like, man, this is, and I don't mean an exact goal, right? But like, what are the things you're like, man, I'd love to do more of this. I'd love to learn more about that. What does that look like for you?
Well, obviously rinse and repeat of a lot of the things that we've already done, but having an assistant now, that's funny that he's an assistant, but he also wants to quickly start selling. And that's awesome. Just what's it look like for me? So again, one of these days I'll actually take that time off.
Yeah, but, good. We're going to hold you to it. I'll make sure she does. Yeah.
Forming the team, but then also helping the team form their own teams.
Right.
That's one of the biggest things, and that's something I've already told them, and some of them are already doing it.
Yeah,
so,
it's awesome, man. winning alone isn't winning, right? Let's
Right.
just keep building that and creating, more of that for you and your family, right? I mean, for their families, it's a massive opportunity,
And it's funny when the light clicks.
Yeah.
Whenever they finally get to that point, sometimes it's 2 years, sometimes it's 3 years, and the light clicks, and it's like, I can do this.
Yeah. Yeah.
So.
Do you remember a moment in the last 8 years where you said, okay, I'm not doing this. This is, maybe a day, an appointment you were at, something where you're like, okay, what am I doing? I got to go get a real job.
Not once.
Really?
Not
That's
once.
awesome,
I'm too
man.
stubborn. I'm telling you, I'll beat it till it's dead.
I love it.
And, there's so many other opportunities, so many different avenues to take here. You don't have to do the same. You don't have to be outdoors. And whenever you get into this long enough, you work on those referral partners.
Right.
And I'd say that's one of the biggest things recently for me in the last couple of years is referral partners.
Okay. That was my next question I was going to ask you was, how do you personally, I know obviously team can be lots of various ways, but how do you personally earn your business? How are you, is it a lot of referral partners, cold calling, mixture of everything?
Mixture of everything.
Okay.
Some of them are actually my customers.
Yep.
Some of them are through networking.
Okay.
Some of them are through the chamber.
Okay. Yep.
It's a slew of different things, but
you do a lot in the chamber, don't you? You're pretty active in chamber.
Yeah. We go quite often. About 3 of us are on the team are in different chamber groups.
Okay.
Try to get to as many chamber events as possible.
Yeah.
So
yeah, one of the things I notice about you that I'm not even sure that you notice yourself is that it's a good thing is that you refer to almost yourself and your team as one and the same, because you're looking at their success and your success is all tied together. And I love that's a very selfless way of looking at it, and I appreciate that about you, man.
I just got a call the other day from a guy that's been wanting to sign up with me for I think 2 or 3 years, and I remembered it. One of my guys that was like right next to him. I called him up and said, "Hey, this guy's right in your back door. Please take care of him."
Go get him. That's awesome. That's awesome. So if you take a step back to your days as an electrical engineer and then apply that to the last 8 years to what you're doing now, are there things you learned in that time that allowed you to do better here? Maybe organizational skills, work ethic, math, whatever. I mean, are there things that you took from that? Because it seems, when I think about that, and I'm sure many others hearing that, it seems like it's just a drastic difference. But I'm sure there's some things that you pulled from that have helped you today.
So this is kind of off topic, but definitely it got slapped in my face whenever I used to work in just Missouri.
Okay.
Just Missouri. I learned Missouri code like it was like the back of my hand.
Okay.
Last place I'd worked, we did everything everywhere. I remember putting Missouri code on something that was in New York. And it was funny because we built everything in-house there.
Okay.
We had a big machine shop in the back, and if you messed up, you went out there and worked with the shop guys. So it was always you didn't want to mess up. So that's kind of when you work in this industry, you don't want to mess up, but you also don't know everything.
Right.
So, never promising that you know everything, but then saying, hey, if I can come back and when I get this information, that's one of the biggest things is being an electrical engineer. I felt like I needed to know every single thing
right.
when I got into this, and it held me back quite a bit.
Yep.
It I'd say even by a year or two, and I don't have that have to anymore.
That's
have
cool.
to know everything.
That's cool.
I remember doing all the research, looking at all the different things, and so many things change by the time you actually make the sell sometimes anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So
I love that. I suffered from that when I first got in this industry, man. I called it paralysis by analysis.
Exactly.
Because
yep.
I was, in my previous roles was that same thing. I had to know it all, and I didn't hit the ground running very fast because of that. So I know how you feel there for sure. So are there some tricks that you utilize, some inside scoop, things that you do that help you get more referrals? Or is it just, hey, people love Brad and they know that, hey, I call, he answers, he's around, he's going to take care of me? Or are there some things you do to help earn more referrals?
That's part of it, but I definitely want to learn about the business inside and out.
Okay.
And sometimes I might not get the credit card processing right then, but you know, I might notice that, hey, they're missing something or Google or something's not showing up right. Just being there to be able to help them do their job better. You know, I've got one customer of mine right now that just opened back up, a brand new concept, and just coaching through some things.
Yeah.
And I've learned so many things about different businesses, things about restaurants, things about heating and air. That's just like.
That's awesome. So. That's awesome. So if there's somebody out there right now listening, watching this podcast, that's struggling. They're maybe thinking about hanging it up right now. They're, maybe their manager sucks. Maybe their company they work with, whatever. Or it might just be they're just hitting a lull, right? Maybe they're brand new. They just haven't got that first sale, and they're like, whatever. You know, I know those guys all make it sound like it's easy, but you know, I can't do it. What would you say to that person if they're standing in front of you right now? What would you say to them, you know, to encourage them?
Well, if I can do it, and as I said, being a coach and electrical engineer, and just seeing so many people on the team and through the industry, you know, struggling, but then after that first sale, that really helps the residual. Just one more door.
Just keep going, right?
Just keep going.
Yeah.
And sometimes you get to where you feel like, oh, I can't do it anymore. But how many more times does it take to get no's to get that yes?
Just one more closer to a yes.
That's right.
Yeah.
And people think that's harder than it is, and it's hard. It's I went through a class that they literally said sales is like going through a boxing match. I have never thought of it about that way because I'm used to all the contact sports, and like I said, I'm maybe been beaten up a little bit too much, but just put those gloves on and just keep going.
Keep going. Yeah, there you go. So that's 12 round match, I guess.
Right.
Yeah. I think I always think of when somebody says just keep going. You never know how close you are to that major opportunity. I think of that cartoon we've all seen where it shows the guy with the shovel and he like stops just close to the treasure, right? And just one more shovel would have gotten him there. It really is. I think that's the best advice out there for somebody. Just keep going, right?
And when you get that yes, I had one of my reps who I was with. I was already supposed to be somewhere else. We got a yes, and I was like, we're just down the road for another one. You know, ride that wave as long as you can.
Right.
So
yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome.
I took her, and we had two yeses in like less than 25 minutes.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. That's great. Well, Brad, I appreciate you being here. I appreciate you providing the insight and the stories. It's inspirational, whether you realize it or not. It's inspirational. So many people out there, what you've been through and overcome. And so I appreciate you being here, man. That's it for another today's podcast. I'll see you all next time.
Thank you.